You're listening to
Sticky Note Conversations with Erika Washington. Way below acceptable. Way below acceptable.
On this week's episode,
one of the hardest things for me I want my mother to need me. Because I know I'm all she got.
Way below acceptable.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Sticky Note Conversations with Erika Washington. I'm Wil Black, the show's editor and music producer. Today, Erika and I just wanted to have a lighthearted conversation about current events and some of the things that have been going on in our lives. But at some point, about 20 minutes in, things got a little deep as we started to talk about my daughter getting married and just experiences of parenting our adult children. So, as Erika would say, I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as we did. Man, how are you today, Erika?
I am doing well, Mr. Black. How are you?
I am well. It's such a pleasure to finally get you on the show. I know this is something that we've talked about for quite some time, and I knew that it would be extremely hard to do, but in a time of crunch and in a time of need, you always pull through. So thank you, and we're really happy to have you here today.
And I'm happy to be here. So this is not that show, because you have been saying that someone should interview me and the table should be turned and I should be the one being asked the questions. And that is not this episode. But what this episode is an episode of lively banter around things going on in our lives, maybe little current events. We'll see. I think it's important that people also know how great and fabulous you are and that you keep the show running and you make it sound pretty despite any mishaps with audio or me recording in strange places or microphones that are a little bit wonky, air conditioned in the back, which hopefully this air condition that is on right now is not going to be a problem, but we'll see. But you are the reason. And as Derek, our guest regular, Derek Washington, has said, you deserve an Emmy for your, I don't think remember said Emmy. I think he said Emmy, not Oscar. An Emmy for your sound and editing, especially on his episodes, because that's all he really cares about is his episodes anyway.
Wow. Well, I definitely don't take a compliment from Derek Washington lightly. So thank you so much, Derek, if you hear this. And thank you, Erika, for trusting me in doing this. I care about the work that we do, and I understand what my role is, and I do my best to not only do a great job, but continue to grow and get better.
Yeah, this has been a learning process for all of us over the past 3+ years that we've been doing this.
Wow.
I know. Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Wow.
So I'm sitting in the fabulous Las Vegas, my home away from home, my part-time home, was my home. As most people know, I don't live here full-time anymore, but I'm here enough to still feel like I am a Nevadan and Las Vegan and all that. But the unique thing about not living here anymore and coming back is you get to see things through a different lens a little bit and explore places that you didn't normally explore because you lived here. And one of those things is I've been staying in various hotels. Some on the Strip, mostly on the Strip, some not, but mostly on the Strip, depending on who's having the best deal. And so I am currently in a hotel on the Las Vegas Strip. And a friend of mine, Dr. Tony Bond, who's also a show favorite and regular, we had dinner plans. And so we went to dinner. And before dinner, we had drinks because we were two ladies about town. And we were sat in this little bar area. And the hostess, a lovely young woman, not sure of her actual ethnic background, but and my guess she was an Afro-Latina maybe, or certainly some African ancestry in there, mixed with some other things. And so she was light skinned and pretty curly hair, big, beautiful, puffy hair, and young and thin and just pretty aesthetically a very beautiful young woman. And there was this man who was older, not as aesthetically pleasing, and full of audaciousness and spending a lot of time taking up her time. And she's a hostess, so she's seating people. And she was very nice. And I'm watching her because we're sat in our little cocktail tables or whatever. And she ended up sitting him at the table in front of ours. And he stood there talking to her for the longest. And I could overhear little pieces of the conversation. And it was starting to be borderline inappropriate, in my opinion, of how she looked. And also asking, so what's your ethnic background? Where are you from? Where are your parents from? That sort of thing. And mind you, this was a Caucasian man. And I heard her say Cuba, and someone from Cuba, or she's from Cuba, someone's from Cuba in her family. And maybe she is. Maybe she lived there. And he said, oh, well, how'd you learn to speak English so well? And I didn't really hear her response except for saying, well, I work here.
Wait a minute. He said, how did you learn to speak English so well?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I am irritated, right?
Is this an older dude? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He looked like he was maybe in his 60s, maybe. I don't know how to explain it, but he's a typical, what I would say, a typical white guy who seemed as though he didn't have to follow any sort of rules, and that just sort of walked through rooms and didn't ask for permission sort of thing. Very arrogant airs about him. Because when he came in, she actually hadn't sat him. He's just coming in, and she was trying to explain to him that he had to come back to the front because they had a lot of people. And he's like, no, I'm sit right here. And she was like, no, actually, I need you to do this. And he kept going back and forth, but I think she was just like, it's fine. That's fine, sit. But yeah, he asked her, how'd you speak English so well? And I'm over here like irritated, like, what? Why? And yeah, he was asking about her coloring a little bit, her skin color. And I really couldn't hear what she was saying because she was being really quiet. But she kept this plastered smile on her face that was like Barbie, sort of like, okay. And you can tell, like, she's at work. She is trying to keep the situation pleasing the customer, but also like, okay, I need to get back to work sort of thing. And then he grabs her hand to shake it or whatever. And she's finally able to walk away. And I could see her holding her hand, almost like he had squeezed it too hard. Like she rubbed it in a way. And I had pulled her aside and I was like, you're very good at your job. You're very good at your job because you really did keep a smile on your face and she's like, oh, thank you. And then she carried on. And then coming back through around after she's seating more people, he pulls her aside again. And this keeps happening. Like he is monopolizing her time in a way that is so blatantly just wrong. And I say something to my server and I was like, he is really being, I think, inappropriate. And the server said, let me see if I can intervene a little bit. So she went over there to see if he needed a drink or whatever. And he wouldn't take his eyes off of the hostess, young woman. And I think he does order a drink and what have you. But she's still there. And she's like, oh, okay, well, I have to go back up front. And he's like, wait, da, 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 da. And I feel like they're trained to make sure the customer is right. It's a really nice hotel. It's one of the higher end hotels in Las Vegas. And so I think that way that they are trained, from what I've saw of other employees in the hotel, they are really trained to make sure that we are comfortable and feel pampered. So she's back at the hostess stand. Next thing I know, he's at the hostess stand. And I'm like, dude. Oh, and he's like, well, I'm meeting someone. And he pulls out his phone. She looks like this. I've never seen her before, but this is who she is or whatever. And so it was probably a call girl. That was my opinion. And so, but he's up at the hostess stand now bothering her. Now, mind you, now we have dinner reservations. So we're wrapping up, paying our bill, getting ready to go into the restaurant that's next door. He's still at the hostess stand. I'm telling Tony what's happening because Tony had actually been on a call this whole time. And so I'm just sitting there staring and fuming. And I'm like, you know what? I'm actually kind of sick of this, that every time she moves, he's moving, with her, sort of. And I asked to speak to a manager. And I told our server, I said, yeah, can you grab a manager? Because this is really bothering me. And it doesn't feel like she's able to brush him off because he's standing so close to her. And every time she moves, he moves. And she goes to see someone and then he's following her back up. It's making me uncomfortable. And she looks about 19 to me, which I think my mommy senses are kicking in by this point. Right. And the manager never comes, which is a problem in and of itself. I left my name and number, told them where I was staying, and in their sister hotel, and asked for somebody to call me because I would like to speak to somebody about this. And I said something to the other hostess. Now, the young woman he was harassing was able to leave. She's like, well, I'm getting ready to be out, because I pulled her aside and I was like, you don't have to tolerate that. You need to say something to your manager because I can tell that you seemed uncomfortable. And she's like, yeah, a little bit, but I'm getting ready to go now. So I get to leave. And I'm like, okay, well, good. Well, have a good night. And I then really kept an eye on him to make sure he wasn't trying to follow her out or anything. I said something to the other hostess. I said, I've been waiting for the manager. He hasn't come by yet. And so I left my name and number with her and where I was staying. And she had said that she'd also felt really uncomfortable that he wouldn't leave. And she had pulled her away from him at one point. So it wasn't as though no one tried or that no one else saw it, and it certainly wasn't something I just saw myself, right? This was obvious to other people. And I don't know what the solution is, but I do know that management needs to be paying closer attention. Like there should have been, in all of that time, the fact that the manager wasn't around to see any of this, or even when I'm alerting someone that they don't come, because who's protecting these young girls? And as I went into the actual restaurant where I had my reservation, Tony was already sitting, and I went back to the hostess stand and say, because I didn't know exactly where the table was. And I said, yeah, I was out front and I explained in a synopsis of why I was just coming back in. And that hostess said, thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for paying attention, because it gets really hard. And the other hostess girl said the same thing. Thank you for paying attention. It can be really hard, which made me think, how tough do they have it? Because as Vegas goes, when you're hiring for those positions, servers, bartenders, hostesses, a lot of times they're asking for headshots. Especially if you're working around the pool or what have you, you need pretty body. They want all that, right?
Yeah.
They want large breasts. They want the BBL or whatever. Is it BBL? BBW? I don't know. They want the BBL.
BBL.
Yeah, they want the fake booty. They want the Kim Kardashians. They want the skinny. That's what they want. They want aesthetically pleasing looking people at the bar. They want the men with the abs and the shirt off, and that is because people come to Vegas, they want eye candy, And so that means also those folks are probably getting harassed, and they're maybe making good tips based off of how they look, but also the amount of harassment they may have to put up with, especially from non-aesthetically pleasing men, just running around oogling at them like that. It felt so icky And I was so pissed. I was pissed. That was my long rant about, I don't know how we protect young girls and still have them have the autonomy to have these jobs if they want them, and make their money. Like, I understand sex sales or the idea of it, the idea of whatever. But as a mother of daughters, I feel as though even when I'm not protecting my own, I am on high alert about others.
Obviously, that I did a lot of my years in the service industry, and in particular, the bar and nightlife of things. And it's interesting because I also believe a lot has changed since the times that I was really in that industry. Just how women are treated and respected in the workplace. I can definitely say that. And maybe even back in the day, there may have been some things that I just never looked at in the same way that I look at today. Now, I think in that particular situation, there were a few things that were red flags for me. Number one being that once you asked for a manager, you never saw one. I think that's the biggest issue of all of it.
And still haven't, like, I even talked to concierge and told them and said, hey, this isn't happening over there. Can you, whatever? And so he reached out and he asked me last night, did anybody contact you? And I said, no.
Yeah, see, I think that's a bigger issue because to me, it just says that they are okay. And probably to some extent promote and definitely condone this type of behavior or expect it. I don't remember in particular if you said that the young lady appeared to be uncomfortable.
Yes. So the vibe that I got, her body language was very stiff. It was like stiff as a board. And like I said, she kept a smile plastered on her face. And you could tell that it was a fake smile, but she didn't do anything in particular, I think, to give a lot of signs that she was uncomfortable, if that makes sense. But you can tell that it was very much an act. It was very much I need to be as robotic as possible. That's the best way to describe it. It was very robotic. And so every time you turn around, she the way that the smile appeared on her face when he called her again. And she's like, yes, what can I get you? Or how can I help you? Like, sort of thing. And it was a very frozen sort of thing, which I could tell was different from when I was speaking to her. Because when I first said something to her, it was still sort of there. And then she even apologized to me. She's like, I'm so sorry that you were bothered. I said, oh my goodness, do not do that. Do not apologize to me. Like, I'm not. And I told her, I said, I am asking to speak to your manager because I felt that was inappropriate for you to have to deal with. And she said, oh, thank you. She was like, I was really trying to be helpful. And I'm like, no, I understand that. You don't explain anything to me, but I just want you to know that I am going to say something. And this is not negative against you at all. I think you handled that as perfectly as you could. So as I'm talking to her, I can see her body language is different. And it's not that I need to stay focused. Cause also, and once I talked to her a little bit more, I did hear an accent in there. And so then that also made me think, okay, maybe she is an immigrant. Maybe she is really afraid of losing her job. Like anybody can be afraid of losing their job.
You're not trying to ruffle feathers.
Right. Nobody's trying to ruffle feathers, and nobody knows who anybody is. He could have he very much could have been some Nepo baby, rich dude that ain't never had to work or whatever. He sort of gave that vibe to me that he don't actually have to listen to people and no one's ever told him no, sort of thing. Yeah, like I've got a whole scenario in my head of who he is, right? I mean, somebody who's been bailed out of trouble more than once is how I see this person. That's how I saw him. So yeah. So I mean, I think she was uncomfortable. And just from the way that she said thank you, because she didn't say, "Oh no, it wasn't bothering me." She didn't say that to me. And again, nobody said that. The other hostess said, "I thought it was a problem too." Everybody thought it was a problem.
You're listening to
Sticky Note Conversations with Erika Washington.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know what to do with that except for like before I leave, I will talk to somebody. Somebody gonna talk to me. I don't know what that looks like, but somebody's gonna talk to me because it's not okay. It's not okay at all. And it makes me now even feel like I'm on a higher alert of paying attention to these things. And I had this conversation with my youngest daughter, and I told her the story, and I said, even if it's not one of your friends or somebody you know, if you see something and you see a woman being harassed, you see something happening, you need to say something to somebody. You just need to flag it. Because sometimes when we're in that situation, we may not know how to get out of it ourselves. There is that moment of freezing too. And that happens. That's happened to me where someone said something off color and you don't know how to respond. And someone else might see it and they are better equipped to respond in that moment. I remember once I was walking home from the 99-cent store in Vegas to my house downtown. And I was carrying like bags, groceries or whatever, because our 99-cent store had a great little grocery section back in the day. And I was also poor. And so I'm walking back from the 99-cent store and there was someone following me. And I didn't really know somebody was following me until a car pulled and was following me as well. And I'm looking and I look at the car and the car was watching them, not me. And so that car, I can't remember if it was a man or a woman in the car, to be honest. I feel like it might have been a woman. I don't know. But I remember her saying, that person is following you. Do you have a long way to go? And I said, no. I said, I just need to get around the corner and up. And she's like, okay. And she stayed following with me until I got where I was closer to my house, or the other person stopped and went another direction. The person who was on foot following me. And I was just like, thank you. She's like, yeah, no, they were following you. And so they noticed something I didn't notice, that I didn't see. And that could have been something that was detrimental to me. I don't know. But it was all just some random person who saw what they saw and paid attention to what they saw, and then paid attention to me enough to make sure that I was safe. And I just think that we all need to do that for each other
more often.
What have you been doing? Well, I've been out having drinks and trying to tear down the patriarchy.
Well, I've been being a father and a husband, and really, I think I'm at a point in my journey of embracing and wanting to grow in these roles. So, my oldest daughter recently got married, last weekend. Yeah, she was married last weekend. Small, beautiful ceremony at Palmer Park in Detroit. And I don't know, it definitely made me think about a lot of things. Her mother passed in a motorcycle accident 10 years ago this year. And I wanted to bring something and went searching through some boxes to find a picture of her mother and me, my wife, and daughter. We all went to the wedding and I had this picture. But anyway, in going through this box, searching for this photo, I just saw so many memories. I mean, I saw things that I didn't even believe that I had and kept. Photos of friends and just all kinds of things. So going to her wedding and seeing my daughter there and getting married and family and, my wife being there today, and just seeing how family and life and things just come full circle. And it makes it worth all of the bullshit that you feel like you're going through at times. It's like, okay, this is why we do this. So
Still can't imagine any of my kids being married.
Right.
That seems like such a big step. Like, I'm like, oh, then I'm grown. Like, it's like, there's all these different levels of being an adult to me.
Right.
Me having to get a new HVAC system in my house felt really adult. Me having to get a colonoscopy felt really adult. It felt like more adulting than I wanted to do.
Well, for me, it's like, we've talked about this in a very early episode, but I wasn't there when they were young. I was definitely the quote unquote deadbeat dad. And, there was even a point at her wedding where there was a random situation. Her friends put together like a little gift that was a bunch of pictures and memories of her mother and my daughter, Brianna. I wasn't saying her name, but Brianna. And within this box of photos, it was just a bunch of photos of the two of them and maybe like some animals and the uncle and maybe some just things with them. But then it was this random photo of her as a little baby and her mother and this black dude, right? And now, my daughter's biracial. We can say that in context for story purposes, but I'm like, look at this, I'm like, well, who is this? Now, as I said, I was this deadbeat. So I know that other people were around, and the fact that she was in a photograph with another dude didn't bother me. But the fact that there was this special box put together for her from her friends, and I'm not in anything, and I'm totally cool with that, right? But it's like, who the fuck is this? Okay, so.
Who's this random black man?
Right. So, actually, I'm standing there with her grandmother, who is her mother's mother, and her uncle, her mother's brother. We're standing there looking at this thing together. And I'm like, who is this? And then they mentioned who it was, or at least who they thought it was. I later find out that it wasn't who they thought it was. And I just go ask my daughter, like, hey, do you think that your friends thought that was possibly me? Because it's an old picture. It's blurry. It's a random black dude. I'm being realistic.
Your dad's black, so
right.
here's one.
I'm being realistic in the moment, but I'm feeling some kind of way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then her wife said immediately, like, hey, hey, Dad, could you get my mom a drink? Talking to about her mother who was there. And I'm realizing, oh, she's breaking this up. And Brianna says, yeah, Dad, I had nothing to do with that. And I don't even know who that is. And right now, and I'm just realizing, like, yeah, I realize it's not even about me. I just kind of wanted to know what the hell this was. And I don't think I was mad, but I felt some kind of way for sure. So I let it go, whatever. And went on with the day. Everything's fine. Fast forward, the next day I send her a text, didn't hear anything. The next day I called her, didn't get a call back. Now I'm all feeling some kind of way because I'm thinking I did something wrong at my daughter's wedding. I upset her. And in my journey, it's been important for me to communicate. So that phone call was me making an attempt to at least talk to her. I may not have brought up all of the details of what I was feeling about any of that. I just wanted to make sure she was straight, really. That's all I cared about. And her not contacting me was weird. Well, she eventually called me, I think, on the third day. The third or fourth day, actually. Just normal FaceTime. Hey, Dad, blah, blah, blah. And then I mentioned it because I wasn't going to, but she seemed in a good mood. And she laughed and she was like, first of all, I realized that wasn't the dude that Nana and Uncle Chris said that it was. It was someone else. And secondly, I wasn't upset. In that moment, I just didn't want to talk about it, but I wasn't upset, Dad. And I told her how I was feeling and how the last few days I was just worrying about it. And then she said, I was going through my Facebook memories trying to find something. And ever since 2009, all you've done is told me how much you've loved me and complimented me and been there for me. And you have been so consistent and so this and so that. And you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So I guess that story is just me just saying it's like those moments of them full circle moments.
I think that's important because, I've said before that I feel like this space is new to me of having adult children
Mm-hmm.
who are no longer minors, who no longer technically have to listen to everything I say. And I don't know where I fit into their lives, or even if I do fit. And it's a little bit unnerving. It makes me a little sad, a little lonely, a little frustrated, a little like I'm only ever getting a phone call because something is needed, like money, but not just to talk. Like there's no room for like friendship, I guess, and just knowing like what's going on in their lives. And my youngest just turned 19 the other day. And I asked months ago, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I've always been a birthday person. They've gotten their parties and different things. We had our traditions to celebrate. For her, it was always going to IHOP. This is the first year we've never gone to IHOP. We went to Pancake Hop, as she called it when she was little. That's where she wanted to go since she was probably like 4, maybe. She wanted to go to Pancake Hop. And she would invite my friends, my adult friends, be like, can Miss such and such come? Can Mr. such and such come? We're all going to Pancake Hop. And that's what we would do. And so this year I said, what do you want to do for your birthday? Oh, I don't know. And this was months ago. I don't know. What do I want to do? Nothing. And then finally she's like, I know what I want to do for my birthday. And what she wanted to do was hang out with her friends and do some arcade type situation. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And the weekend she wanted to do it was before her birthday. And I wasn't going to be in town. And I said, oh, I won't be around then. I'm like, oh, but this is just you and your friends hanging out. Like, yeah. So I paid for it. I sent her money so they can get all their tokens and different things so they can have a good time, get a lift back. all of that. And I was like, okay, so that's your birthday present? That's what you want? Yeah, that's what I want. Just to go do that with my friends. Cool. I still said, hey, I'm coming into town for your birthday. I'll be there. And so thought we could do something. Oh, okay. So still no plan, nothing you said you wanted to do with me. You'd already done that other thing with your friends. So I figured we have dinner or something at some point. And she mentioned something about wanting to go and get Nigerian food. And I was like, oh, okay. That's new because she's never asked about wanting to get Nigerian food. I had a nail appointment on her birthday. Her birthday was on Sunday. And it was pretty much the only day my nail lady could do. But we still hadn't had any plans. Because I'm like, well, when do you want to go? Oh, I don't know, because I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like, you have all these things you're doing. And you got plans with your dad on this day and this, that, the third. And I said, well, I'm getting my nails done at 9 in the morning. After that, we can do whatever if you want. Okay. So in the middle of getting my nails done, she's like, oh, I want to go to the aquarium, the shark reef at Mandalay Bay. Oh, okay. Mine is a Sunday. So I look it up online and all that. And I'm looking up Groupon, trying to see if there's any specials, whatever, like a tour, because I haven't been since she was little. And I wasn't dressed and all of that. And so I'm like, well, okay, this is what I can do. I'm like, I can set a lift for you to meet me here while I get dressed so we can go, but we won't have but an hour there probably. Just trying to figure out the logistics in my head of how to make this happen. And then we can go to dinner afterwards. And then she's like, well, I got to be back because I'm doing such and such with my friend, such and such, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, that really gives us less than 2 hours. So do you want to just come here to the hotel and hang out for a little bit? I don't know, whatever. And I'm like, well, we can just wait and do it all on another day if that's what you want to do. That's fine. And she was real flippant. And I could tell she had an attitude about it. And I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand. And so she was real off-putting. And so last night we finally went and had dinner and got our Nigerian food, which most of it she did not like, but she wanted some fufu and she got her fufu. And then we had to order a different meal because she didn't like the first thing she got. And then of course they're still going to charge me for it because it's a small business, but whatever. Get what you want, baby. And I'm like, are you upset with me? And she's like, well, why wouldn't I be upset with you? And she's like, and I'm like, I don't know. And she's like, well, why you choose to get get your nails done on my birthday? And then we could spend time together. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I told you this ahead of time. I also asked you ahead of time before I even made the nail appointment, what did you want to do? You didn't even mention doing anything with me on your birthday until I was in the middle of the nail appointment. So this is my fault. And so I was like, oh, I read that all wrong, I guess, because you realize, like, just because they're your children, they're very different people and they think differently. We got different zodiac signs. We got different love languages. We got different ways we show up. I'm very practical. She's not that, more emotional, what have you. I think she just expected me just to show up. I'm like, so did you want me just to wait in my room for you until you were ready for me? I don't understand. Like, this is when she was available to get my nails done. I had to get them done because I had meetings and things coming on the next couple of days. And I'm like, I figured we see each other when we see each other. And that would just be that. Because you didn't seem pressed about it in the past couple of months when I asked you. Because I asked you if you want to go somewhere, take a trip, come to me. I made all kinds of suggestions.
None of that mattered.
No, except for that day that now I wasn't available in the time, but I was still available. We still could have saw her on her birthday. But I was just trying to be practical of like, why spend this much money to go to the shark reef to be there for an hour? By the time I finished getting dressed, go all the way over and pick her up, to come all the way back down over there, that was at least an hour, right? Plus another half hour for me to get dressed and all of that. I plan my days out, right? I plan my hours out so that I can get stuff done. I was dressed in my workout clothes because after I got my nails done, I was going to the gym. And then after I was going to the gym, I was going to get dressed. And then we were going to go to dinner. And maybe that's all we were going to do. I don't know. But I was supposed to know. And so she was upset with me. She was upset. And I'm like, I can't win for losing.
Do you know how to be friends with your adult kids?
No, probably not. I mean, I'm keep it 100. Like,
I mean, there we go, though.
I wasn't friends with my mother. And I did mention that last night to her and said, like, I can't only be, like, my toolbox might be limited in certain areas that I just may not have the tools that you think I should be using. And they don't exist for me. And it doesn't mean that I can't do better. It doesn't mean that I can't change. It doesn't mean we're always growing. But I also I also feel like none of you give me deference. You make assumptions about what I'm doing and how I'm feeling or what my intention was. So, because, I also, she had an unexpected bill and she called me and she was frustrated about this unexpected bill that she didn't understand. And I was asking a series of questions. And she took that as me saying that she didn't know what she was doing or that I wasn't comforting. And the first thing she said, the first thing you should have said was, I understand, it'll be all right. I've been there. That's what Dad would say.
Ooh.
I said, oh. I said, I didn't blame you. She said, well, you were berating me. I said, I didn't berate you. She said, you were berating me. I said, I didn't say you in any of those things. I asked questions about, did you have the receipt from the last thing that you paid? Was there a list of certain responsibilities? Because it has to do with her new apartment that she's just moved into and things that she thought that she had already paid. Because like a lot of their things are included in the rent. And I've never lived in a place where all of these different things were including the rent. I think including like their internet and stuff. So they have all these different setup fees and what have you. So I'm asking a series of questions. I was not saying you should know this or why didn't you know that or why didn't you do this? I was simply asking, what did they tell you? Did they say this was due on this day or what did they give due dates or what have you? Is there a list somewhere? Is it in the lease?
You were trying to solve the situation.
I was trying to solve the situation. I said, do you have an email that you can reach out to ask them the questions or can you make an appointment and go up to the property management office and talk to them? Those are the things I was doing. Now, I didn't say, yes, baby, it'll be all right. I did tell her at some point when I could tell that she was like sort of crying in the background. I did say, take a couple deep breaths. It will be fine. We just have to ask the questions. I said, because it could be an accounting mistake. But I'm very practical in that way.
You think like a dude. No, seriously. Because it's interesting to hear what you're saying and then hear how you're communicating it to me. Me working with you, but for you, knowing how you can communicate things at times, and then hearing you not even hesitate to say that, no, you maybe don't know how to be quote unquote friends with your kids in the sense that you did say previously that you want to be friends with your kids, you want to hang out with shit. We want to hang out with their mama when their mama being practical, It's
but we're talking about practical things. It wasn't like we were having
but I find it interesting that she said, well, this is what Dad would have said, right? We're having similar challenges, and I think it's a challenge that a lot of parents have when they get to the adult-child thing. But in my case, I'm trying to do all of it at once, be a dad, fix my mistakes and be consistent and be there because I wasn't. And in your case, you were always consistently there. But maybe you need to switch it up a little bit. Because I would have said what she said her dad would have said. Now, the old me thought like you. I hear that shit. And it's like, I don't want to hear all of that. Look, this is what we got to do. We need to do it now. Bam, bam, bam. Get it done. That's it. Because that's more important. So I think it's hard to hang out with your kids or your adult kids or be a certain way. But my goal that really helped me is to just be consistent and available. Try not to judge or appear to judge and know that they're going to take everything personally. They really don't want to listen, but I'm going to just plant that seed and they're going to make their own mistakes. But when you call me, I got you. But it might come with a little something, and I'm going to say it with love, and I'm going to constantly say that. My kid, Brianna, when her girlfriend brought her mom over the first time to meet me a few years ago, to meet Shannon and I, they made a bet before they got here. They said, we're going to count how many times Dad says he's proud of me. Proud of me. And it was a whole thing. And I'm consistently telling them that. And I realize I do that because maybe I didn't get it in that way. I want them to know, even when you fucking up, you still going, and I'm proud of you. I was there. I was there. And you're going to get through this. It's going to get hard. It's going to be harder before it gets easy, but I know you can do it. You're going to do it. Now, this is what we need to do first. And then we get done, we have some dinner. I don't know, something. But
I thought I was being better. Again, I'm a very self-aware person. Like, I know who I am and I know how I show up. I am like, make a list, be practical, let's figure this out. Because then it takes the edge off, because that's what's going to make me feel better. Someone saying, dang, I get that. That sucks. That don't make me feel better. But at the same time, I hear myself and I know that that's not what she needs. But I think I'm also being loving because I am very affectionate with her, more so than I am normally with people. Like I'm known to, like with my children, like I try to, I touch more and kiss
I'm very
more.
affectionate.
I am very affectionate.
Normally than I am with other people.
Like I come out of my comfort zone, try to be what they need me to be, but it's never enough. But it's also like, do you know me as a person? And I asked her last night, I was like, y'all don't know me. Y'all do not know me. You know me as your mother, as this entity, as this being, but you don't know Erika. You don't know anything about me. Y'all don't ever ask about me. You don't ask about how I'm feeling. Y'all don't ask about my life. Y'all don't know what's going on. Y'all don't know.
They probably never will.
They probably won't.
Kids.
They probably won't, because you see me as this, because they see you as this thing, as this, not as like a regular human being. And so I'm like, so there's no, like, where's the deference there to say, well, Mom, this is hard for her, or this takes more time for her. I just have to be the thing that you need me to be, which is very different for each of the children or adults, each of the tax-paying voters. Each of them need something different.
You said each of the tax-paying voters.
Look, because they're not children, they're not kids, but they're, but they're still young.
I don't know if anyone's ever referred to their children
as the tax-paying voters.
Children as my tax-paying voters.
That's where they are right now. So I have a lot to learn. I am not perfect.
Oh no, we don't learn.
I don't want to be, not that I want to be perfect, because, and I actually hate that statement, I'm not perfect, because no one is. But we had a conversation. I don't know where it was left in her head, but I'm always wanting to be better. And I'm always wanting to try more. And to your point about hanging out with the kids, like, yeah, like I'm happy to hang out. Like I try to just have conversations with them. They don't ask no questions. They don't like, oh, okay. I will say, and I'll tell random stories about random things that's happening. Like that's nothing to do with nothing. And those things don't land. Like they don't really go anywhere. It's almost like, because I don't know if they're comfortable with wanting to be on a friendly-ish sort of level. Maybe my oldest a little bit, but that's far and few between too. But she's also a Virgo. So there could be that piece to it. But I don't know. It's just hard, right? Because I love them to the ends of the earth and would do anything in the world for them. But also they're human beings that I don't know. Are we meant to be friends? Are we meant, like, we may not be meant to be close in that way. that we are just not, just because I gave birth to them, and just because I love them, and just because they love me, and we'll be there for each other because we're family, doesn't mean that there's a close connection that makes you want to call them or them to call me when an emergency comes up, unless it has to do financially. Like, just to, maybe I'm not that one, but that's why you have two parents. That's why you have their dad, because apparently, super dad can do no wrong. So let go there for that, and come to me for which parts you need from me. Nobody can fulfill all the spaces that you need, but I can also try harder. So I don't know. All of this is frustrating for me, because I did hope and think things would be a tad bit different than they are, that there will be more room for conversation, more room for hanging out, more room for spending time together and just doing stuff. Because I did try to do those things when they're younger, but also, again, that's not the world I grew up in. Everything that I'm trying to do is very different than how I grew up, because I wanted better for them, and I wanted them to have a closer relationship with me than I had with my mother. Which, I mean, in that sense, we do have a close relationship than what I had with my mother, but it's still not what I thought it would be. But I was also parenting myself, and that's what I realized. We parent ourselves, because our kids can't really tell us what they want until they can tell us what they want. So then we spend the time doing all the things that we missed out on or thought we should have had, or the way we wanted to be talked to or loved or what have you, and nurtured, thinking that is what makes things better. But if that's not what your kid even wants or even sees as important, then it's moot to them. And also, their floor is your ceiling. So I feel like I'm doing the most. And they're like, girl, that's the bare minimum. Do better. So here I am, like, oh, but I'm like, do you see all this? I didn't have any of this. I didn't do any of this, but I can't compare my childhood and my early adulthood.
Right here is where Erika lost internet connection in the hotel. I apologize for the interruption, but when we reconnected, I thought we were just talking. I didn't know we were still recording. And I got a little vulnerable. As the editor, I could take this out, but I kept it.
Anyway, I don't know where exactly it cut out at in my rant, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as we did.
Yeah. We'll do it again. I'll do another one soon.
Yeah. And we still have to do the Black man feelings. Mm-hmm. I've been thinking a lot about that one. And I was like, maybe I want to do a little round table or something.
Date nap. My wife.
Oh, that's right. Which app?
I met her on Tinder. And do you remember the first time I got on the dating app? You wrote my profile.
Oh my God, I forgot. If you had never said that, that would have been a question on a quiz, I would have been like, no, I don't know.
That's a whole episode right there, dating app.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. I forgot. Does Shannon know that?
I think I told her. I'm pretty sure I may have told her.
That's hilarious. How did I forget that?
Mm-hmm.
Man, do we have it somewhere?
I mean, I don't know. It might still be on Plenty of Fish. I don't.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Somebody need to be, you know what? Maybe I need to make that job, because these dating profiles, the profiles are awful. And I'm like, you ain't said nothing. And yet you want somebody to click on this? Or you got some rants talking about, I'm looking for a good woman who's God-fearing and wants a king, but ain't nobody out there like that. Women these days want to do something. All that is in the profile. I'm like, sir, go to therapy. Like,
Well,
why would anybody want to click on something? First of all, you wrote in all caps, and then you talking about what women ain't these days and what they don't do, and what happened to women who want a blue collar man that just work hard and don't be in the streets and want to come home and have a loving family and spend time together and go on cruises. Where that woman at? Swipe left.
I was just, for the most part, I went on a couple dates, but I learned to read the profiles. I would always read. So my introduction or my first conversation was good because I actually read the profile. Shannon had 3 pictures and no words.
Oh, she was wanting no words. Okay.
Yeah, she had only had it up, she said, for 24 hours and went to bed and woke up and had so many things. She was overwhelmed.
Oh, come on, Shannon.
I think I was her second date, and she had another date after me, and I knew about it. And I told her, I'm like, you're not going to even have a good time.
You said what?
I told her she wasn't going to have a good time. I knew it. I knew on my first date with her. I knew she was the one. I knew it. I've never doubted it. Not one time. If anything, I've doubted if I could be there, if I could.
Level up.
I just, like, it was a thing where everybody in my family that met her, they would say, don't fuck this up. Every single person. Only person that didn't say that was my brother. He just knew. Everybody, my uncles, my aunts, my mother, all of them. This is a good woman. Don't fuck this up. Because I was known to fuck shit up. That's how I was having them flashbacks with my daughter that day. Them days of waiting to talk to her over her wedding. I'm like, fuck, I fucked up. Her wedding, I fucked up. I got all into my feelings. I wasn't in my feelings. I just wanted to know what this was. Damn, I should have just held it. See, here we go again. Black man can't speak his shit. I just wanted to understand. That's all I wanted to do. I couldn't talk about my shit. It was the wrong time. It was the wrongness. Now I gotta wait. I really want to call so we can deal with this right now, but I gotta wait. Because if I call, fuck everything up. It was a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And I'm playing it over and over and over and over and in my head. And then she FaceTimed. Hey, Dad, what's up? How you doing? Oh, I'm doing so much better than I'm talking to you. And I meant it. And then we talked about it. I gotta talk. I gotta understand my shit, and I gotta talk. It's so important.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting better.
Good.
Knowing that sometimes I need to shut the fuck up, because you know what? Talking just gonna
Look, and that is my motto. Sometimes we just need to shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said that so many times, people, and then some people get offended. I had an ex that got offended. Why would you say that? I'm like, because sometimes I wasn't like yelling it, like, shut the fuck up. I was saying, sometimes it's just time to shut the fuck up. Like, me, you, whoever, like, just be quiet, give it a second, let it breathe. Otherwise you end up in some stuff. Nobody wants that.
We don't even know how to deal with shit. Men and you, we just want to fix that shit so we can keep it moving.
And so is that how I'm like a dude then?
Hell yeah. No, I totally get it. I work with you. And there'll be some days I'll be like, God, I don't care. Erika give me that episode 2 hours before due. I'll get it done. Because I know she got me. She may not say it all the time in the way that you think you want it, but that's what it is with people. You got to learn how they communicate. And I know that. And I know that because I know who you really are. But a lot of us don't take the time to really get to know who people are. We take so many things so personal. Even in that situation with my daughter, I waited and everything was fine. But it was hard for me to wait. This is something that I'm learning. Your kids are going to come around. Just be available. And don't take it so personal. Because they love you. They need you. They need you. Especially a woman like you. Everybody just think you okay because you also say you okay and you also make it like you okay. You've always showed your kids that you were okay. One of the hardest things for me, I want my mother to need me. Because I know I'm all she got. So, but she's going to always be okay at any cost, even at the detriment of my feelings or anybody else's. That's what she does. I gotta go.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation.
I enjoyed this conversation as much as you did.
Thanks for listening to Sticky Note Conversations with Erika Washington, hosted and executively produced by Erika Washington, with editing by Black Gypsy LLC. Special thanks to KUNV 91.5 in Las Vegas. This show is powered by Make It Work Nevada, a project of Tides Advocacy.